Everyone, it's Nicole, and I have another layout for the February kit. I know I said no more, but as I was taking the papers out to put them away, those two pieces kind of were sitting on top of each other, and I was like, man, those two look good together. So I decided to do one more layout. So it's the leftover of that green polka dot and the leftover of that ampersand page. And then I decide to use, I hadn't used a mask in a bit of time, so I decide to pull them out again. So I took out, it's fern looking mask, and I just took, what's it called? It's a Hero Art ink. It's called Forever Green. And I just used a sponge and sponged it. And then I wanted a little bit more texture, so I just took one of my stamps and I inked it up, and then I stamped it off on a piece of scrap, and then stamped it on the page. So then it was more like it was there as texture, but it wasn't dominant on the page. And then I decided to mat my photos in a brown. And the reason I went with fern is because this train that we had to catch to go to New York, it was literally in the middle of nowhere. It was like behind a barn, and it took us quite a bit of time to find this train station because there was no big sign. It was like behind a barn, and every morning when we go catch the train, literally we would see 15 deer on the way there, and then we'd see that many on the way back, and the deer were crossing the street, and it was just kind of hilarious to us because, an hour and 20 minutes later, you're in New York City, of a train ride. So, but this page is about my son, and ever since he's been a little boy, he would just randomly shout out, "I love trains." And then we'd be driving down the highway or in the car, and then he'd be like, "Mom, guess what? What? I love trains." And he'd just keep saying that over and over again. So it's just a cute thing. So for him he had never been on a train, so for him to actually go on a train was quite special for him and stuff. So the whole page is just about the story about how since he was a little boy that he would just say that randomly. It didn't matter what we were doing, or just at home, if it was quiet, he would just say it. And so it was just cute, and he really enjoyed the train. We had to take it. We went into New York City 3 times, so it was an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back. And to them it was part of the trip, like to go on the train. It was just part of the experience, so they really enjoyed it. So at this point, I'm going to start gluing everything down. And like I said, I wasn't planning on doing another page, but as I was pulling everything out, those two were kind of sitting together, and I thought to myself, like, that really looks good together, and it would make great colors for a page. And then with the whole theme of the train, that basic gray paper, where the back of it you could cut it up and it was all tickets and that kind of stuff, I decided to use that. And then I went into my stash and got washi tape, and it's a green washi tape. And then I went through the Teresa Collins buttons too, and I used those up on the page. And then I went through some more of my stash and found another washi tape that said "Choose Happiness," and it just went really well with the colors. So I'm going to put that in 3 spots too. And then there was a flare button that we had gotten. I think it was a few kits ago, and it was a geotag. So I really like that. So I just put it there with one of the clusters. And then I just took 2 different buttons from the Teresa Collins button collection just to kind of try to finish up the most that I could from my stash. And then I tried to find some enamel dots that matched, that were in the kit, and there was none left. So I just went through my stash and grabbed a few, and I just put 2 different sizes at each cluster. And now I'm looking again through my stash, not my stash, but the kit, to see what else I could use up, because this is the last page. I filmed my Killer Kit video, so it's all done. It's going to be uploaded, so I'm not doing any more pages. Everything's kind of taken out and put away, and the new kit is out, so I'm going to be starting with the new kit tomorrow. So I still had a few of those green arrows, so I thought I would use those up. And then I went through my own stash and found those mistables, the butterfly, just because I wanted another pop of color in there. I just wanted more layers. And my thing is, if I work on a page and I don't like it, I just keep adding embellishments and keep adding layers. And by the end, I like it. So I think the more layers you add, the more interest you put in, the better that the page will look. So then I went through my twine, and I found some yellow twine and added it to the butterflies. So the butterflies are in green with a yellow twine. And then from the digital kit, there was a little print, I guess, that just kept saying, "Love you more, love you more." And I just thought it looked cute on the page, so I just took it and just added it to the page. And then I went through my stuff and found 3 of these. Are from Tattered Angels. They're called Glimmer Glaze, and they are awesome. You spray them or ink your page, and even on things that are shiny, they dry. They don't stay wet forever. And they dry sort of in a little bubble too, so they're great. But the green was a little light green, so I went through my stash and got the Mr. Huey, a dark green Mr. Huey, and added that to the page too. So while that's drying, I'm going to work on my title, and the title is just going to be "I Love Trains." And as I looked through my letters, there was no more T, so I just took an F and just kind of trimmed the top and turned it into a T. And then I wish I would have had enough of those yellow letters, because that would have been perfect. But I went through my stuff and found those Cosmo Crickets, tiny types, again, the yellow. And I'm going to use that just because the other ones were too big. So before I do, I just thought, well, maybe I can find another yellow that I liked. I went through about half my stickers, and I thought, well, you got those, and they look good, so just, go ahead and use those instead of wasting time looking through your stash, because at this point the battery was going to die. So, and I'm taking the title and I'm kind of moving it around. I'm not really sure where I want to put it, so I find if I see it on a picture, then I can better judge whether I like it there or not. So I did like it better at just below that's going to be my journaling block. So I like it right below the journaling block. And then I did my journaling after the recorder was off because my battery was dying. So here's a few close-up of the layout. Oh yeah, and this layout took 1 hour and 10 minutes, and it's page 26 of 50 for the Facebook challenge. And it's also my 26th and final page for the February Studio Calico kit. So thanks for watching. Bye.